There are Canadian politics things going on, but honestly, none of them are even close to as important as the issue I'm going to talk about today. Because as something much more important was happening just across the street, politicians were, once again, a second day in a row, just reciting talking points in the House of Commons, including this new Conservative MP, who was saying how words matter, despite the very fun fact that just last week the son he raised called me a filthy whore. But that is nowhere near as important as the thing I want to tell you today. Although I do hope that it is just clickbaity enough that this video doesn't get suppressed by the algorithm. It worked yesterday when, thanks to you all, hundreds of thousands of people heard the voices of healthcare workers who have been in Gaza. And today I would like to lend my platform to another group. Because more people with evidence of war crimes and genocide spoke out today in the National Press Theatre, which is directly across the street from Parliament Hill. Spokespeople from Oxfam Canada, Human Concern International, and Save the Children, including one aid worker who testified from Gaza, she video conferenced in. They told us about Israel's intentional deprivation of humanitarian aid to Gaza and the resulting starvation of children. Canadian journalists can't enter Gaza, but healthcare workers and, at times, aid workers can. These people are, once again, eyewitnesses to a genocide. And here is what this aid worker told us she is hearing from children on the ground in Gaza.
What we see in Gaza for children is children walking ill-equipped in the streets with empty bowls looking for food, children with empty bottles looking for clean water. It's a desperate fight for survival, and of course, it's getting worse every single day. Save the Children support many services in Gaza, but we know whatever we do is not enough because every child needs everything in Gaza. And I just wanted to share one story which really struck me this week. In one of our child protection centres, our child-friendly spaces, we run an exercise with children, and it's called the Wish Cloud, where it gives children an opportunity to share what they wish for, what do they wish for the future. And often children will say, I wish to be a footballer, or I wish to be happy. But this week, children were sharing different wishes with our teams. Children wished for bread. Children wished for water. And one child shared that he wished to be dead with his mother in paradise, where he knows he will be loved, and he knows that there is food and water. And this is a very, very concerning trend where children are so desperate and their needs are so unmet that they wish to no longer be with us.
Those children's hunger is the direct result of Israel blocking humanitarian aid for 11 weeks from entering Gaza. Now, the vast majority of children in the region are facing extreme food deprivation, and that has been confirmed by 17 UN agencies and NGOs. The situation is so bad that Palestine's UN envoy broke down yesterday as he spoke about these children.
Dozens of children are dying of starvation. The images of mothers embracing their motionless bodies, caressing their hair, talking to them, apologizing to them. It's unbearable. How could anyone tolerate this horror? Excuse me, Mr. President. I have grandchildren. I know what they mean to their families. And to see the situation of the Palestinians without us having hearts to do something is beyond the ability of any normal human being to tolerate. Flames and hunger are devouring Palestinian children. This is why we are so outraged as Palestinians everywhere, the 14 millions of us, in the occupied territories, in the diaspora, in the refugee camps, in far places, all the way to California and in between. We love our children. We love our people. We don't want to see them going through this. tragedy and this savage attacks by those who claim the virtues of fighting against barbarism.
Just moments before that clip you just watched, he listed the number of children who have been killed and injured since Israel broke the ceasefire. And the Israeli UN representative appeared to stifle a yawn.
Since Israel broke the ceasefire in March, over 1,300 Palestinian children have been killed, and around 4,000 have been injured.
And he responded to this speech like this.
Peace will come when you will love your children more than you hate us. Mr. President,
as these children are starving, the humanitarian aid groups in Ottawa warned that while Israel has started to allow a tiny bit of humanitarian aid to trickle in, it has assigned the distribution of that aid to a controversial US-backed group, which the aid workers told us today is giving Israel power over who receives aid and where they're able to get it. And Israel is using that power to displace people in Gaza by controlling where they have to travel to eat. The group, called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, is giving people in Gaza just enough food to stay alive, but depriving them of enough to actually be full. Based on the testimony we heard today, the tiny bit of aid that is being allowed to trickle into Gaza, that is controlled by this group, is being used as a political tool after Israel withheld it entirely for 11 weeks to collectively punish the people in Gaza. Here is what those aid workers told us today about that.
These actions undermine international humanitarian law and set a precedent for occupying powers to dictate the terms of aid based on political agendas and military goals. As we speak, Oxfam has shipments worth over $3 million stuck in neighboring countries since Israel imposed a total siege on March 2nd. These new mechanisms give Israel power over who receives aid, where, and from whom. They turn relief into a tool of coercion. It blurs the line between humanitarian assistance and military objective, putting civilians and aid workers at grave risk.
Children are being starving not because of food doesn't exist, but because they are being denied access to it. This is not a food shortage, it's a crisis created by political choices. My colleagues in Gaza are reporting heartbreaking stories. Children eating animals' feed, leaves, even sand mixed with flour. And while this is happening, aid trucks filled with food, water, and medicines are being blocked at the border. Save the Children will not participate in any system that violates humanitarian principles. Aid must be delivered based on needs, not filtered through military or political agendas.
I saw the devastation firsthand, hospitals without power, mothers skipping meals to feed their children, and aid workers risking their lives to deliver basic supplies day in, day out. The humanitarian situation is beyond catastrophic. For the past 2.5 months, aid, including food, water, and medicine, has been blocked or severely restricted. Over 1 million people face famine, and as mentioned, children are dying from hunger and preventable illnesses.
Through every step of listening to that press conference, I keep thinking about a clip from yesterday's press conference from the healthcare workers about how when children starve to death, they lose the ability to cry.
Do you know what a starving child looks like towards the end? They can't cry. Their heart slows down, and then it just stops giving up on the world. So I want to leave you with this image. Imagine children starving, unable to cry, and then completely slowing down and stopping because this world has let them down.
It's time for the government to do more than send a strongly worded letter. What do you think of all this?